When I visited the exhibition of famous photographer Malik Sidibé's photos of youth in Bamako, Mali, in the Jack Scheinman Gallery, I was totally speechless because all his works reminded me of the photos of my mom, aunt, uncles, which were taken through 1960s to 1980s in Turkmenistan. I had a warm feeling seeing young people having a great time and fun, just the same way as my family was depicted in their photos. Also, they both had the similar hairstyles, clothing of those years, and it seems that they are simply embracing the modernism of Western style. Some photos of young people representing Africanism are wearing their traditional clothing, having their picture taken with their traditional carpets in the background. Moreover, there were some women's photos with jewelry, hairstyle, which also represented Africanism. At the same time, that I saw a clear difference in colorful, voluptuous dresses, which also showed Islamic influence. I thought that the photographer was trying to show that all these people in the photos are, despite their modern clothing or traditional clothing, representing Africanism. When we look at the history of Mali, we all know that Mali was a French colony for many years until it became independent in 1960. Malik Sidibé captured that moment of young people expressing themselves after the colonization period by seeming to break with their traditions as in embracing 1960s rock and roll revolution. Moreover, his works show the history of transition from colonized 1950s to 1960s photos of young people elegantly dressed and with fashionable hairstyles in French fashion. And then transition between 1960s and 1970s through Marlon Brando's hairstyle and clothing, while demonstrating the music appreciation of Jimi Hendrix. It is clear that young people in Sidibé's photos wanted freedom while revealing their disagreement with Mali's political nationalist teachings. Since at that point in the history, it was expected of African people to reclaim their authentic ways, which were forbidden by the colonizer. But instead, those photos show them as embracing modernism. However, it is my understanding that the youth had quickly combined and united the African culture, collapsed the walls consisting of opposition between colonizer and colonized, and made connections beyond national frontiers with the Black diaspora and international youth movements. Furthermore, when I look at Malik Sidibé's youth photos, I feel their energy, vibrancy in their dance movements, in which I see a connection to the Mali's Dogon. The Dogon are people who live in the cliffs and mountain areas of southern Mali, and they are considered unique because they kept their culture despite the influence of Islamic religion and colonization. Dogon are primarily known for their mask Inima, which contains the life force called Nyama, and their desire to be perfect, like the Nomo. The Nomo were twin offspring of Amma, the Almighty God. Unlike their older brother, the incestuous Jackal, who was ill-conceived through the union between Amma and the earth, the Nomo were perfect in everything they did. They each had male and female organs and would therefore reproduce without the other's help. That is why the Dogon refer to the Nomo both as singular and plural. Also, dances that the Nomo taught men and women were the representation of understanding the independence and freedom. So the Dogon believed that Nomo to be part God and part human, part fluid and part solid, part water and part snake, corresponding to a specific work and form of prayer, which makes Banaka youth coincide with the Dogon's desire for perfection. Those dance movements in the photos were pertained to the modern style dancing. However, when I look closely, those movements imitate the blacksmith's dance with an axe, and the sun dance of Dogon Mask of Mali, which can predict the future through the divination dance of the ancestors. In conclusion, I would like to say that Sidibé's works takes us through the journey of Mali's history and transformation of post-colonial times. Now, after seeing his works, I believe that every single person in those photos portrays an Africanism, each in the uniquely traditional or modern way, because we all know that Africanism is representation of culture, tradition, and ideals.